So you're moving to the Norfolk area, but you're trying to decide between Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake. A lot of people will say Virginia Beach is the best place to move to in the area, and Norfolk is not the place. But in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the reasons why Norfolk is a better place to move and live in than Virginia Beach or Chesapeake, even for that matter. Now, I'll preface this by saying that I actually like Virginia Beach a lot. And in a lot of ways, I like it better than Norfolk. But I do think Norfolk gets a bad rap. I also think that it doesn't get as much focus compared with Virginia Beach. So I do think that there are things to focus on and shed light on to almost like elevate and to put more spotlight on Norfolk to give you confidence to say this is a place I want to move to also. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the culture in Norfolk. There's just way more of it. I mean, Virginia Beach, it's almost like non-existent compared to Norfolk. Norfolk has so much in terms of the arts, in terms of local and even regional events. There are so many performing arts centers, ballet, opera, concerts. The Norva is one of my favorite places to go see a concert. You've got Chrysler Hall, you've got Scope, you've got the little theater, big, small, different venues that can bring in thousands of people or also just a couple of hundred, for example, in some cases. And I think that's one of the things that makes the culture in Norfolk so fun is that it does have the balance of you can bring in thousands of people to one specific thing, or there's a rich local culture, local arts culture here. Music, jazz, R&B, classical, a lot of eclectic thing, dance, opera. I used to be a season ticket holder for the Harrison Opera House, which is the big local opera house here in Norfolk. I've watched Jerry Seinfeld multiple times in Chrysler Hall. Nate Bargatze. I love comedy shows. I've seen a lot of comedy shows in Norfolk. Harrison Opera House, Chrysler Hall, Scope. Those are three of the biggest ones in the area, but there are so many others. The Neon District, a new emerging area in next to downtown Norfolk. The Arts Center, which is a nonprofit organization. The arts is layered through Norfolk. But then you got bigger festivals and things to do along the downtown area through Waterside. If you zoom in into the map, you'll see here, downtown Norfolk's right here, Waterside, Town Point Park. There are festivals through here, wine festival, jazz festival. There's a street food festival, a taco festival, even a mac and cheese festival in Waterside. They have great fireworks throughout the year also. Harbor Park, where the Norfolk Tides AAA baseball team is. Norfolk Admirals, where they play at Scope, the minor league hockey team. Other sports like college football, Old Dominion University, the primary Division I football program that is here. So you can get some tailgating, watch football there. And through downtown and through the western side especially, through Ghent and all the way through Hampton Boulevard, there are places all through there that put focus on the arts and put focus on the rich history that is Norfolk. That really it does not exist anywhere else in Hampton Roads. That includes Virginia Beach, it includes Chesapeake, it includes anywhere through the entire Hampton Roads area. So Norfolk is number one in the arts, in culture in general. It has a nice downtown feel mixed with a local vibe that just doesn't exist in other places. Which leads me to the next one, which is this place has so many historic areas and a lot of historic houses and historic neighborhoods. Houses have some variety. You get a lot of variety of houses in this area. So living in Norfolk has a unique character to it that you can't find anywhere else either. Now, Norfolk has a lot of nice neighborhoods, for example, like Larchmont, like in Freemason, down in downtown Norfolk, even on the western side, all through the western side of Norfolk, you've got plenty. Lock Haven, all through the western side here. And Colonial Place, one of my favorites for the price. All through the western side is one of my favorite parts of anywhere in Hampton Roads is the western side of Norfolk. In addition, Granby Street, all through Granby Street, the neighborhoods in there, Cromwell Farms, Talbot Park. These houses were built in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. You got mid-century modern, you got colonial style, you got Foursquare. Old houses built in the 1910s, 1920s with basements, which is one of the only places that in the area that have basements. Ghent is unlike any other part of the town, which is one of the more expensive houses or in the $600 to $900 price range mostly, but you've got the most character-laden part of town through this western side of Norfolk. I think it's fantastic. You've got green space through, especially in Ghent. You can hit the green space and be in a real nice vibe in the type of neighborhood and house that you really can't find anywhere else. So anything from the downtown part of Norfolk in the Freemason part of town with cobblestone streets, with big brick row houses, all the way through to Larchmont, Colonial Place, Ghent, Craftsman, Victorian, those unique 30s, 40s, 20s, teens houses that you can only find mostly really in Norfolk as compared with anywhere else in the Hampton Roads area. You'll find them in other pockets, but not as much in as much prominence as you would find in the western part of Norfolk or for Norfolk in general. Next is number 3 is it's very affordable for a nice neighborhood. Now I say affordable, it's all relative, right? So someone that's looking for a house that's $1 million, they can get a house that they might love for $825 or whatever in Norfolk. For on the flip side, if you're looking for a house that is 2,500 square feet, and you can also, like, for example, if you want a bigger house, you can often find a better size house in Norfolk for a cheaper price. Now, it just depends on where. One of the drawbacks to Norfolk can be the demand of school district, which can affect the pricing in parts of the town also. But that being said, there are parts of town like in Ghent that you're going to be paying more for the same square footage as opposed to a place like, for example, in Meadowbrook, which is a neighborhood I think is awesome near the airport. Meadowbrook, anywhere closer to the airport, closer to the gardens, Glengarriff, this area over here, Water's Edge. This is one of the best values anywhere in Norfolk. In addition to over near Granby Street, Cromwell Farms, River Point, Belvedere, Talbot Park, Suburban Acres, all through here. I love this area also. Some mid-century modern houses in here. I love the houses in here from the 4, 5, 6 range. On the water at 6, 7, 8 and up. And then going over towards the area I was talking before, like the gardens and even Camellia Shores, Glengarriff, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But you put that house in Virginia Beach, you're going to be paying about $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 or more for the same house or the same size house. So I do think that while we will find some parts of Norfolk that are more expensive, on the flip side, you will find some parts, some nooks and crannies, I think that you can get some good value if you want to live in Norfolk and get a nice character type house that you can't find in other parts of the Hampton Roads area. Number 4, which is on the same housing part, which is you have unique house opportunities. Number 1 is you have a lot of multifamily houses, especially in the north part of Norfolk near Ocean View, which is a very different part of town compared to the rest of the parts of western Norfolk I've been talking about, or the central part of Norfolk. But a lot of multifamilies. I have a friend that has a duplex in Ocean View, so a bunch of streets up through Ocean View, and even going into the south central part of Norfolk has more duplexes and just multifamily quadplexes and more in Norfolk that you wouldn't find as much of in Virginia Beach or Chesapeake, even to a certain degree Portsmouth, or even going into Suffolk. There's just, while you will find some, Norfolk has, I think, the biggest concentration of multifamily houses in the Hampton Roads area, and that could include even towards the peninsula, the Newport News and Hampton. In addition, the size of house, you get more variety of sizes of houses here. So if in the north central part of Norfolk, you'll find a lot of Cape Cod style houses. So even near Bayview, it's a great spot to find a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, like 1,400 square feet. Now you'll find sometimes those Cape Cod styles have those pitched roofs with the second floor that has maybe 1 or 2 bedrooms that have those angled roof lines and those ceilings that are smaller or kind of shorter on the sides. So while it's a bedroom, it may not feel like the same bedroom, so it kind of might feel more cramped in some of those cases. But my point is to say that a lot of houses in Norfolk that are in the 13, 14, 15 or less 100 square foot range, you can't find much of that in Virginia Beach or Chesapeake into the same degree. And even in other parts of Hampton Roads, like Suffolk or anywhere going further north in the peninsula, Norfolk has a lot of those Cape Cod style. Part of the reason is because it's a high military concentration area where a lot of the houses in the 40s were built for military. So you find a lot of 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or 3-bedroom, 1.5, or 1-bath Cape Cod style that were built in the 40s or in that range to facilitate the military that were in the area. So that's one of the reasons why you'll see a lot of the same kind of style house in Norfolk. Next is there's a lot of possibilities for potential improvement or growth in Norfolk. Not necessarily growth from the standpoint of numbers, because there aren't a lot of spaces to grow in Norfolk. It's landlocked in multiple sides by water and cities. So you're kind of almost wanting to develop what's already here. In downtown Norfolk, for a long time, has, I think, started decaying a little bit. And MacArthur Center was the prime mall for a couple decades. It was awesome. People love MacArthur Center Mall until in the last, I say, 5 to 10 years, it really has changed a lot. The stores that were kind of like the iconic stores that anchored a mall were gone. So in 2023, the city of Norfolk bought the mall, and as of now, currently, they do have plans to not only change it, but make it a mixed-use center, hotel, shopping, residential retail, basically to bring it back to like a place where it's a focal point of the city and to make it a positive and not a negative. And as at this point, it's become more of a drawback to that part of town. It's one of the more prominent and valuable spots in downtown Norfolk. And so once that changes and improves for the better, I think that's going to be a big boon to the city and to the development and just the overall aesthetics of the city. It might make people also want to stay in Norfolk longer if they do get transferred or stationed in Norfolk for the military. In addition to that, you've got East Beach, the Ocean View area, and I'll show you on the map where that is again, zooming out. On the top part, the north side of Ocean View, that is being changed drastically as well, close to East Beach. This is all like restaurants, shops, new construction, new neighborhoods, as well as individual houses being built right near the ocean. This is bringing up the values of this area in Ocean View quite a bit. Then going down closer to Ghent, right near Park Place, the areas around 23rd, 24th Street, all this area near closer to Ghent, but closer also sandwiched between that and Park Place. There are a lot of restaurants, coffee shops that are being put in this section here close to Ghent, but I think that's changing the vibe of this area too. So I think there's going to be some even more value increase. The next is the benefit to Norfolk is it has an actual downtown. I brought up the culture of Norfolk a lot, and also the lifestyle in Norfolk. Downtown Norfolk is the downtown. And if you go to Virginia Beach, it has Town Center, which is it's a downtown technically, but it's not nearly what downtown Norfolk is. There's no other place in the Hampton Roads, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, through Williamsburg area that has a downtown like Norfolk. Now, it's not Chicago, it's not New York City, but it is a recognizable skyline. It has some big buildings, has some walkable streets, has the waterside aspect right near downtown. So it's a nice combination of being near the downtown area, but also having a huge green space. So I do think it has a nice combination of tourism, combination of business, and combination of residential all through downtown and green space. In addition to that, in downtown, the cruise ships dock and depart out of downtown Norfolk right next to Nautica. So a lot of nautical tours. Again, like I mentioned, the cruise ships. You got the USS Wisconsin that's docked next to the Nauticus Naval Museum. So anything around the water side is really in demand. It's great. It's a great place to be. But in addition to that, you're right next to downtown. Some really, really prime restaurants. Freemason Abbey is one I love a lot. Bird and Baldwin, which is one of I think the most underrated but best restaurants in the entire Hampton Roads area. I absolutely love it for steak. I just think downtown Norfolk is great. And I think even if you don't live in downtown Norfolk, which you can, a lot of high-rise places, condos and all that, even if you don't live in it. I used to live in Ghent, on Colonial Avenue. I could walk from Colonial Avenue, where I lived, over towards downtown Norfolk in about 8 or 9 minutes. It was great. And I think even being close to downtown Norfolk in a place like Ghent or anywhere else nearby, you can drive in, walk around. I think it's fantastic. And I think it's one of the draws to being in the city of Norfolk is the downtown that it has, unlike any other part of the Hampton Roads area. Next is cheap waterfront. Now, cheap waterfront doesn't mean cheap $100, but it does mean if you're paying for a $1 million house in Virginia Beach on the water, you might pay $850 for the same thing in Norfolk. So especially places up around Colonial Place, you can have a water view in the 600 range in Colonial Place, right near Mayflower Road. There are places up near Talbot Park, Cromwell Farms, you might be paying $7 and up. But again, it is for what you're getting. Water access, you can get a dock in some cases. It's tidal. You'll be paying way more than that in Virginia Beach for the same type of access to water. Larchmont, same thing. You'll find million and up along the water, but you'll find there's some nooks that are fantastic. I'd even think for $1 million, 1.2 along the water on the Lafayette River, you're going to be paying 1.5 probably and up in Virginia Beach, closer to the Elizabeth River going that it can empty out into the bay that way. So while it does cost to be on the water in Norfolk, it is still cheaper to get a place on the water in Norfolk, pound for pound, than it would cost for the same type of house in Virginia Beach. Now, next is, I've talked about the local vibe to a certain degree, but Norfolk feels a lot more local to me than Virginia Beach does in a lot of ways. Now, Virginia Beach has a local vibe, and again, I like Virginia Beach a lot, but the difference to me is that with Norfolk, there's a lot less tourism. So I think even though there's a huge local scene in Virginia Beach, the amount of tourism that goes to the beach itself, it does influence the local vibe in Virginia Beach. As opposed to in Norfolk, you don't really get that as much. It's more local. People that live in Norfolk know Norfolk. You're not necessarily going out of your way to travel to Norfolk as much as you do travel to the Virginia Beach area along the ocean front. People do that, but it's not to the same degree. So it does have a more local feel to it. Now, that being said, there are a lot of Navy and Army and all the military installation bases across the Hampton Roads area, but Norfolk has a lot of big ones. The Little Creek Amphibious Base and Norfolk Navy Base are two of the biggest ones on the north side. And because of that, whereas Little Creek's right here, and then of course Norfolk Navy Base is right here. It's one of the biggest in the country. And so because of that, you have a lot of people coming in and out. I wouldn't say tourists, they're living here, but a lot of people come and then they leave after 2 or 3 years. But some people do decide to stay. And I do think while that does add to the transplant vibe in parts of Norfolk, and it kind of takes away part of the culture of that local feel that I was talking about before, on the flip side, there's a lot of Norfolk that doesn't have that, or people that have decided to stay because they love it so much. And I do think that Norfolk, while there are a lot of people that do get transferred to Norfolk or PCS to Norfolk, and they don't like it, or they have heard that there's a lot of the bad reviews of being PCS to Norfolk. I do think there's a lot of truth to that. But there are a lot of people that end up staying here because they are pleasantly surprised. They love that local feel that Norfolk brings and that culture that Norfolk brings that a lot of other places just don't have. So I do think that it does attract a certain kind of person that wants to set their roots in this high culture environment and high character environment for the houses, the architecture, that older vibe that you just don't really get in other parts of Hampton Roads or often in other parts of the country. Next is in terms of the real estate. If you do buy a house in Norfolk, it is easy to rent to other people, mostly because of the military bases here. So if you do buy a house and you don't want to stay in the area, it's a great place to rent. The multifamily is number one, even the single family houses close to the bases, or even not. If you're 20, 25 minutes away from the bases, a lot of people I help and help move to the area don't need to be 5-10 minutes away from the bases. They're thinking 20, 25 minutes because they might want the best neighborhood or the one that they actually want. So in that case, you might find that rentability further away from the bases is still okay if you buy in Norfolk. But even those houses that are 1,200, 13, 1,500 square feet in that range of like the 450 price range, those houses can often be easily rented closer to the base because you'll find people that do just need a place to stay for 2 or 3 years before they go to the next stop. So I think that does add to the demand or the rentability of a lot of parts of Norfolk. I wouldn't say just get any house because it's rentable, but you definitely have a leg up because of the demand of people that are coming in. So neighborhood's most important. Definitely do your research there, but it's a place I think that does allow for people that will just want to come. They want to be close. They have the beach access. They want to be close to work. It's a great spot if you own a house and you want to rent it to somebody that needs to be close to work, close to the base, or downtown for that matter. So if you have any other questions about relocating to Norfolk, Virginia, or any other area in the Hampton Roads area that goes from Virginia Beach through Williamsburg, Chesapeake, Norfolk, all through Newport News and Williamsburg, let me know. It's what I do. I love helping people relocate to the area. So if you have any questions, I have my contact information in the description. You can email me, you can call me, you can text me, and I'll do whatever I can to help you relocate to the area. If you want to learn more about the area, I have more videos here you can click on to get more in-depth, in detail about the area between Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake, through the Williamsburg area. So click there and I'll see you on that video.